Okay, welcome to a new video. Our most requested video ever, because it's the only video that's ever been requested. Yeah, okay. Anyways, right, we're going to have a look at the Miniart 2020 catalogue. Better try and squeeze it in before it's 2021, huh? Anyways, who are Miniart? Miniart are a Ukrainian plastic model manufacturer, and they produce some pretty niche subjects, actually, as a matter of fact. I became aware of this manufacturer's been out quite a long time. And originally there was sort of diorama stuff. But anyways, let's just sort of flick through and see what we can look at. We'll look at the website later on, but we'll see what there is. They've got a few genres available. 1/35 is their primary stuff, but they do also some 48 scale and some other niche bits and pieces. I think what they're putting out at the moment is pretty damn awesome. There's always of late, stuff that's come out has been a surprise. Usually, it's been a surprise because it's subjects that haven't been really that well addressed by, the superstars. The superstars to most people is this Tamiya, and Tamiya are not going to produce anything like this, like what Miniart are doing currently. But let's not dwell on that. Okay, let's start flicking through and let's have a look. This is these interior kits are probably their latest sort of genre that they brought out, and at long last we've seen them bring out the T34 85s full interior kits. I would absolutely love to get my hands on one. Maybe I should, but I've never built a full interior kit. I don't like the premise of spending so much time on stuff that you just don't see. But these, but I do like the T34, obviously. So something to look at. So okay, T34 85s, probably quite heavily researched, and if you know anything about the tank itself, it's had many reiterations. So they produce multiple versions of it. You can just see, look at the detail that they're rendering. Of note, though, they're showing it in this sort of like cutaway, transparent sort of look at the vehicle. There's no transparent parts. You won't be able to see a dang thing if you close it all up. But Miniart as well, quite well known for including photo etch within their models to capture all the detail. So bear that in mind. Okay, we'll just go straight through the catalogue. Let's start with these 148th aircrafts. Oh, there's none. There's none at all. Okay, mistake. All right. New series, new kit, none. Okay, there's no 148 scale aircraft. But a faux pas there. Right, okay, let's go to the World War I. World War I stuff that they brought out has been quite well received from my understanding, yeah? There's some really interesting vehicles. The boss that they brought out, based on the B-type lorry, that's pretty fantastic. And okay, that's their World War I stuff. I thought actually, we'll have a look at the website soon. I'll show you more of that stuff. But there's been some breakthrough kits recently. Okay, now we've got World War II, 35th scale. Got their okay. So currently, this is their newer stuff, the Lee, and they brought out several versions of that. And then you've got their older stuff that came out. I remember I built the T70. Built T70 for I didn't build it with that gun, but I built the T70 for the now defunct Military Modeling magazine, as they ran a Kursk special, and I remember that kit. This was a low part count kit. The hull was incredibly warped as well, but built up okay. Individual track lengths, not the best kit. Let's say that it's not one of the best kits. Okay, now, so you're looking at sort of like legacy stuff here, and I know people that have you know, they don't speak too highly about much of these early kits. But down here in the corner here, this bulldozer, and they've got several versions of that bulldozer, is absolutely fantastic. And I built that kit, and I was absolutely stunned with the amount of detail that they've captured. And also the kit is, I wouldn't say complex. Is it complex? Complex if you're going to sort of stand by and only build Tamiya kits and expect everything to have a little slot and a little hole and a little sort of key to guide you, you're going to struggle with the Miniart kit. It's probably going to be beyond your capabilities. However, if you're interested in a bit more of a challenge, in a bit more of a wholesome build where you need to pay close attention, where you need to constantly dry fit, then I think you're going to enjoy Miniart. That's my opinion on it. The kits are absolutely outstanding in terms of detail. So anyways, here's the sort of range, 35th scales. They brought out loads and loads of wheeled vehicles. They brought out some civilian stuff. I couldn't tell you if it was popular or otherwise, but their most interesting stuff has been in recent years. The interior kits, the Grant here, the T-34 that have been talked about, and we'll see some others as we go through. One of their newer interior kits is Panzer IV, very late production one with the mesh Scherzen. Other interior kits did Su-85, Su-12. You can see where the bias is here. Basically, most of the subjects are Soviet World War II. Basically, around that time, they've got, being in Ukraine, maybe they've got a good amount of access to the subjects so they can get well researched. But, you know, times are changing. They're opening up. I mean, the Lee was, you know, American vehicle. I think it's one of the first American vehicles that they brought out in the World War II range. And yeah, here's another one. I built this Bantam kit. I built that kit. That has been, oh my gosh, how long ago was that? The Bantam's like a Jeep, but it wasn't used. I don't think it was used by the Americans. It was used by the Russians and maybe by the British, but it was, you know, a Jeep, but not as well known as the Jeep. Let's put it that way. Built that kit. Not a bad little kit at the time. And here's some more interior kits. That T60 there, 35219, that's not like the T70 at all. It was a new kit with interior, all up to date, all new, all the details in, you know, a lot more complex than their early kits. If you want to find out which ones are the older and newer, you can, the usual giveaway is the price, because the interior kits can be quite pricey. They never used to be. Miniart in prior days, not an expensive manufacturer, but now with their kits, they're so full of parts that they are a bit more expensive. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'll explain some differences. There's the old Su-76. The Russians call that the Suka, which is a naughty word. Anyways, okay. Yeah, obviously you can see that there's a lineup of a load more stuff that's going to come out in their World War II series of vehicles. So we'll have a look at the website. Figures, very popular range of figures, especially for the guys that are doing dioramas. In particular, they cover figures that the other manufacturers just simply don't cover that well. As for instance, the German artillery crew drivers, the World War II drivers, the SPG crew, the Jeep crew, these obviously have the characteristics of being able to be fitted within vehicles. You see here as well, this Totenkopf Division Kharkov, you can easily see that they're tank riders. They're designed to be fitted on the vehicles, which is great. If you want a diorama featuring a World War II vehicle, you're looking around for figures that are compatible. Miniart would be one of the manufacturers that I'd recommend that you'd look at. And we'll certainly be reviewing some later on, as I have some purchased. Yeah, and also some of the other poses are quite interesting. They depict sort of action instead of the sort of okay. Have a look back in other catalogues, and we'll do this at some point, and we'll see prior days figures also depicted like charging into the enemy with machine guns instead of these more atypical like filling up vehicles, which is a bit more, practical in terms of diorama, a bit more befitting sometimes to complement vehicles. More and more figures. They've got a massive range of figures, really big, and they cover areas that also they weren't that well covered before, like an Italian tank crew. Where are you going to find an Italian tank crew figures? French tank crew, early part of the Second World War. Japanese tank crew, Japanese figures. Try and find out how many you can find. You can barely get any. And then you've got the British tank crew as well. At one point, it was difficult to get a British tank crew, but they've got them. They've got the officers there. And then there's a nice set here of some guys doing some camo painting again. Works towards a diorama. Also note that the art is really good. I really like the sort of these very recent ones. Here they've got these... they've got an action set here with the Soviet artillery crew, loading the guns, firing. But look at the next set, the Taking a Break, which is just, it's obviously self-explanatory, but it just fits in well. And these figures here, the German infantry at rest, I mean, you're seeing the box art, which is usually a lot better than actual plastic molding injection figures, but regardless, the poses are very natural, they're very convincing. So simply getting that set of 4 figures and doing a very small vignette, very practical, very easy thing to achieve. Pretty good. More and more figures, tank crew riders, again, more and more figures posed, driving vehicles, combat crew there, Soviet tank riders, US soldiers at rest, etc., etc. So, a very well-known manufacturer for these diorama type figures. And in addition to that, we go back to more diorama stuff. There's a massive range of accessories that they produce. Everything from individual track links, road wheels, machine guns, infantry kits, grenades, mines, individual engines. So this is really, it's nice that you don't need to sort of dig into buying lots and lots of individual accessories that may accompany tanks, etc. You can get all your artillery, your ammo, separately boxed kits. This is a new line, not my sort of thing, but I've seen some really good renditions of these models. And the Sharrow tank, which is that ball tank, and this Triebflugel. The first time I saw that, I think it was in Japan. In 2019 when I went to Shizuoka, and that was announced there. I don't know what is going to come in that series. Depends if it's popular or otherwise. Different genre. Okay, now we get some more post-war modern stuff. The cover star here is a T55 APC version. So who's going to produce that? Well, previously you probably have to buy a resin conversion or do it yourself. Now you can buy the kit. T55 lineup is pretty massive, and yes, I do want to get a T50. I do like the T55. I've got the tack-on ones. I built the Tamiya one with a lot of additions, but these ones are very well detailed. I've heard they can be a bit more complex. The interior ones certainly are challenging. They've got a lot of parts to cram in. So, and there's lots and lots of different versions. They actually started off with the, I think it was the T44s. Then they brought out T54. Then they brought out T55, T55A, and then they've followed that up with Terrans, so the the versions that were used, that were captured by the Israelis and used by their forces. And this is this SLA, I think it's like a Lebanese militia that had these ones in this very unusual blue. So interesting subjects for sure. And there's more to come in that range. T-59 has been brought out, recovery vehicle. So many T-55s, and fortunately you can see that they've clearly marked up which ones are interior kits, and if they've got a T-54-2, they've probably got a T-54-2 without an interior as well. Like here's a T-54-3 that's without interior, and there's T-54-1, there's an interior one, because there's a substantial price difference between the two versions, obviously. And again, if you're not going to use all that interior, why pay for it? You don't have to. So it's quite a good option. And more military miniatures here. These are really good sets that they brought out. They brought out the US Marine Corps tank crew at rest. The figures look really good. I've got those to review and show you. The British tank crew, their modern British AFV crew, again, difficult to find that style of figure. So they've got them out. And then they've got US tank crew, Bundeswehr as well. Soviet tank crew, 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s in the winter uniform. So you've got so many different options here. And this is a pretty cool one as well. They've got the IDF tank crew with a female crew figure there as well. Different. You don't see that. It's a bit uncommon. And then some more details and accessories like these mine rulers and so much stuff, really. Now, we'll go back. This boss here, I think, looks absolutely amazing. I've seen this built up quite a few times. It looks really impressive. Here's that bulldozer. Now this is where we go on to the civilian series. And Miniart, again, they seem to be, I think, the only... I think we can put ICM. I think they do a few civilian kits. Hasegawa do some construction kits. But in terms of civilian vehicles in 135th, Miniart is the place really to go, because nobody else is doing them in this. The bulldozer, which is sort of pseudo-military, I suppose, because it's easily juxtaposed in the military version. But the fire trucks, the buses, the cars, they're bespoke civilian vehicles. The trams as well, they brought out loads of these trams. And to accompany them as well, to get your civilian figures in plastic, in injection, so not expensive, this is the place to come again. You've got a whole range of, car drivers, a tram crew, sitting civilians, German civilians in the 40s, some guys just simply repairing a car, some welders, Afghan civilians for your modern diorama, and pigeons even. There's so much there that really allow you to explore diorama possibilities. And here's some... This is how they sort of started off. So these really go back. These buildings and accessories are actually vacuform kits, and I remember these, many years ago. I'm talking about 12, 13 years ago, seeing these, people who were doing these dioramas, and traditionally used to get them in plaster or resin. They're very expensive. And then Miniart came out with these vacuform kits, which were relatively inexpensive, and you had whole diorama bases basically ready just to add your tank to. So flick through, there's lots and lots of accessories. There's no shortage. Everything that you can think of that you may need in diorama, Miniart just seems to have it covered, really. And we've got the welding, so if you want to do the repair, refueling, if you even want to do a construction set, you've got all the bricks. And this is quite new. They brought a set for a civilian cafe, a civilian fruit stall as well. That fits in with you know, the modern day. It's just a universal sort of subject. And there's more to come, of course, as well. So it'll be interesting to see what else comes out in that range. Here's the diorama series we're talking about. So here you've got a base and you've got a vacuum-formed building. You can build it all up. They've got a full set of instructions on how to do that. 1/35th scale aircraft. Unusual aircraft not covered previously by the manufacturers. They've got these auto gyros. They did this Calibri and another one, Avro Rotor. I'm not familiar with these aircrafts, but I've seen them built up. They do look quite impressive. They're very small, but very, very detailed. And then on 1/16th, these go back quite a while. I can't tell you too much about them if they're good or not. I have seen some figure painters produce these and some outstanding work, but not really my sort of stuff. I'm not an expert. I wouldn't tell you if these are new or old. Historical miniature series. Okay, this is 72 scale. So this is a little bit like Zvezda. They produce stuff that's in nearly like wargaming scale that fits in with the gaming basis, but also, you know, if you want to build 72 scale dioramas, you've got a whole range of buildings here that could be used or may assist you in your diorama. Okay, that's the index. Okay, so that's the end of the catalogue, but let's just quickly have a look at the website now. Okay, very briefly, we're looking at the website for Miniart. Just going to show you that just to show you some features. I think it's a really excellent website. In some ways, it's actually a lot better than the catalogue. The catalogue shows you that wonderful box art stuff. But here we can actually see these kits built up. We can see some sprue shots, get lots of information. And more importantly, we can see their latest releases and stuff that I'm after. So let's just scroll down and see what they've got. And kits of interest are, they've released 3 versions of this this tractor. I just think it looks fantastic. I've never seen one before. It's a Bulldog Lance tractor. They did an early one, a world like sort of pre-war, wartime, and even a post-war version as well. That's the latest one to come out. But when you actually flick onto the site as well, you'll be able to see the kit built up. It's been built professionally. You can see it in bare plastic here as well, so you've got a good idea of how it builds up in terms of bare plastic, and an excellent view of the built-up model as well. You can flick through, have a look at the model. Look at all the detail on the photo etch that's been done. The tyres themselves look really great as well, with all the wall detail. See, they're not shy to put Continental. Have they spelled it right? Yeah, they've got Continental on the tyres. Or is it Continental? It looks like they've actually... Yeah, anyways. Got a really good rendition of the kit there. All the photo etch details. Also, I mean, who else makes these kits? They're... I think maybe in resin you might be able to get one, but now you've seen them in plastic. It's civilian subject. But as mentioned, who else is doing civilian kits of something like that? I think it looks fantastic. Looks really good. Make an interesting civilian type diorama, or could be integrated within a military scene. May or may not pick up one of them, but I know what I do want. I'll show you now. Right, okay, there's been about 3 versions, I think, that are coming out of this new armoured car, Austin armoured car. And again, looks very impressive. This is full interior kit, but it's a lot smaller, so, you know, a lot more manageable, but the detail are really up there. Just flick through again, so you've got a great view of the kit itself. I just think it looks really interesting. And there, this is a really good photo, yeah, of course. Showing the kit bare plastic gives you indication of how the photo etch fits into it. And yeah, like I said before, it's not a Tamiya kit. This is going to take a lot more work. You need to do your photo etch. It's got a lot more fine detail parts. But I really like the models. I like the way they come out. And I like the guys who build these models as well, because they they really are impressive once they're built. So that's one of their, new tool kits. Obviously, so many versions coming out of that Austin armored car, of the tractor as well. I'm after the Russian Revolution version. I think here it is. Yeah, here. I don't know if this is available now. Hopefully, I'll get my hands on one. Let's see if we can open up these pictures briefly, because another feature as well of Miniart is the many different schemes that you get within a kit, and I think they are well researched as well. We haven't got a unknown unit of the Bulgarian First Army Front. It seems to be well researched. There we are. Look at this. The camouflage pattern's really interesting, eh? Yeah, I'm very keen to get. Oh, here's the Lenin one. Lenin, Spartak. I don't think it's the football club. I don't know, but Lenin. Up to the 1920s, so it goes in the sort of interwar period. Yeah, anyways, I'm after one of them, so yeah, don't be surprised when we have one of those in the future. And also, you get a good layout as well. It tells you on the website as well, the photo etch as well that's included as well, which is important, I suppose, to some people, because photo etch is a thing. There's a lot of people out there. The people that can only manage to build the Tamiya kits, a lot of them are frightened or unwilling to undertake photo etch. So these kits are, they're definitely in the intermediate to advanced model category. You need to have a few. I recommend having a few kits underneath your belt before building one. But when you do build them, well, you're really gonna, you're gonna get a kit that's straight out of the box, that well detailed, that you don't really need to add anything, which I think is a massive advantage. So, anyways, here's what I was saying as well. You get box art, which looks fantastic, but here's the actual plastic figures, painted up obviously by a professional figure painter, and you can see how they look. This is what can be achieved if you're a really, really good figure painter, obviously. Yeah, but I like to look at these photographs. The website is, has that more detail in it. You've got the more recent releases as well. That's what I'm going to show you. Basically, that's everything about Miniart. The thing that we need to do, obviously, is build a kit and see what else is coming. I'm really excited for this producer. I think they're producing a lot of kits, and the level of detail, the research that goes into them is really showing. So that's Miniart, and hope you enjoyed the review of their 2020 catalogue. See you in the next one.